It's been raining heavy, really heavy the last few days here in the Triangle area of North Carolina. Let's take a peek outside. I haven't really done anything this year, to be honest, outside. Nothing is properly arranged. It's just sort of lining this deck, but it's not arranged like I normally arrange it. Ah, look at all this water. You can even see, look how much water just, oh, I need to take this out. I want to kill this plant. I have to pour this out. Oh, Lord. I have this little mini rose bush here that Kenton got me, and I put it in this little bowl. This is a fancy bowl, but it's old, so I thought instead of throwing it away, I would reuse it as a pot holder. See, it's one of these Port Merion, made in England. Oh, and the rain washed away my lilies. These are the Oriental Lilies. I only have one left. They come back every year. Every year they come back. See, there were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I only have one left. I have these 2 rose bushes that I've had for a couple of years too. They need some love and attention, which they're not getting so far. But you can see a new rose coming through, and I love this plant because it will give me roses of different colors. So some will be red, some will be yellow. The magnolia is looking okay. It's rooting up or shooting up. It's getting quite tall. I haven't had lunch, so I just warmed up some leftovers. Just a little snack. I think I left this in the microwave a little too long. Doesn't look the most appetizing, but it was quite tasty. Kareem made this chicken yesterday for me. And this is spinach and broccoli. I know this is a little random, but I love this fiddle fig that we've had for over 3 years, going 4. It reminds me of a child standing by the window, hoping, praying to go outside. You see how it's curved towards the window? If I thought it would survive, I would put it outside, but I think it does better inside. But anyway, it reminds me of a person. So before we get started with the diary reading, I'm just going to make myself a mug of hot tea. So typically I make tea out of a teacup, dainty teacup, but today I'm going to use the double-walled mug from Tea Bloom. I also won't be using this teapot. I'm just showing you that it is an option, but today we're just going to keep it simple. So no formal teacups, just a nice double-walled glass mug, and this is also from Tea Bloom. So they have such beautiful teas. They have loose teas, but I also really love their hand-tied floral teas, or teas that look like, well, they don't look like, they're actually dried flowers. They hand tie them and they package them with tea. So this one is the Heart Boutique, and there is also the Jasmine Lover. And I couldn't make up my mind, but finally I made a choice. And it's so beautiful and relaxing and flavorful, and smells good. So just sit back and relax and get ready for an interesting story time as soon as we finish making this tea, which, by the way, isn't it beautiful? Just look at it. Just look how the flower blooms. It's so beautiful, and yes, it does taste amazing. So they have so many different flavors to pick from, and if you want your tea like this, go ahead and order from Tea Bloom. The link is in the description box. So once the tea is brewed, you can drink it straight, but I'm choosing to add some honey ginger. It's literally Korean ginger with honey. And you can definitely make this yourself, or again, you don't have to sweeten it, but I like it a little sweet. So yeah, there's nothing better than a cup of hot tea on a cloudy or rainy day. And like I said, it's been raining all week. In fact, it just started raining again as I'm filming. A few days ago on my walk, I picked this magnolia flower off a tree. You shouldn't do that, but I couldn't help myself. It was so beautiful, and even though it looks old, right now it still has a lot of character and it smells so good, so fresh. While I drink my tea and before we get started with the diary, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your support. We really appreciate it. I see all the comments and we love hearing from you. And I really hope you enjoy this video and that God will continue to bless you from wherever you're watching us from. So as you can see from the front cover, this is a diary from 1988 and it was a gift from my father. It has the national anthem in there, the Nigerian national anthem. I haven't seen that in forever. And I have some loose pictures, some old pictures. This is an old one of Kenton and the boys when they were very young. And this is of me around 18 when this diary was written. So you've seen that picture before. I guess at this point in my life I was 18 and I had graduated high school in Brooklyn. Looks like I gave myself a little timeline here. So I found this diary entry basically right after I finished high school. Again, back in 88. So I wasn't following, the paragraphs or the columns. I kind of wrote this way. So let's see. So far, I think this year has been one of the most thrilling, exciting, and rather stressful years I have encountered in my 18 years of existence. There has been so many changes, like college, and risks like immigration taken. I think even 1986, the year we left Nigeria for good, may not have been as eventful. I'm still procrastinating writing this diary, but I know once I start, it won't get put down until I finish. Like I said before, it is the 20th of December. Yeah, so the 21st of December is my mom's birthday, so it was the day before my mom's birthday. It's rather chilly outside, but unseasonably warm, say about 45 to 50 degrees. And this is in Brooklyn, New York. I don't think we may have a white Christmas because it is yet to snow here. Unlike Ithaca, which is upstate New York, which has had inches and inches of snow before I left. I'm sitting in Mummy's new rocking chair in the corner of the living room. The room is very dark, or quite dark. Bashir came back from school. And remember, Bashir is my younger brother. Bashir came back from school and rushed off with Grandma to the plaza. Back when King's Plaza was the place for us to go. And back when my grandparents were alive, because they passed on. Oma must be sleeping. Oma's my other brother, the one right after me, who you don't see often, or ever really, on this channel. But Oma must be sleeping or daydreaming on the toilet or something. It is about 4:30 p.m. already. I will turn on my Luther Vandross tape for the 100th time. I love it. So I graduated from the Bridge to Medicine program in late May, and again, I hope you've seen the other diary entry or story time I had about the Bridge to Medicine. Quite nice, and Mummy took loads and loads of pictures. It was funny because it doesn't hit me that I may never see all these people again. I will have a yearbook to remember the program with, and of course loads and loads of wonderful memories. It was a beautiful learning experience. On the 23rd of June, I graduated from Samuel J. Tilden High School. The graduation ceremony was held in one of Brooklyn College's largest auditoriums. We only had one rehearsal, which our principal continued to boast about. We were all dressed up with lots of flowers, pictures, smiles, hugs, congratulations, etc. I received quite a number of awards and honors, but definitely not as much as I would have liked. I didn't cry as I expected, and when I went home, I didn't have enough time to think about it. Instead, I had to worry about packing and leaving home 3 days later. Yeah, so June 26, 1988 is what I'm writing about. All I can remember is getting to Ithaca. So can you imagine, all of this was written before I ever met Kenton, before I ever had children, before I ever thought about marriage, before I ever went to medical school. There were so many before, you know? It's crazy. All I remember is getting to Ithaca about 4 p.m. It was very cold and breezy. I don't think I was shy, rather I was a little scared. I had got on the bus at Grand Central, and now we had reached Cornell, right in front of the dorms, high-rise 1. It was here about 100 of us were to reside. As soon as we got off the bus, Cornell students called PCs in red shirts came out to welcome us and help us get our door keys and luggage up to our rooms. I thought we all had to have doubles, and if that was the case, I wanted to share a room with America, who I knew from Bridge to Medicine. Fortunately, however, I got a single. Oh, okay, cool. In my room, I had a bed, of course, a dresser, a lighted mirror, plenty of drawers, a wardrobe, a desk, a bulletin board. The floor and halls were all carpeted. I also had a large window overlooking a nice view outside. It was 4 rooms to a suite, which shared a bathroom that had a shower, a toilet, and 2 sinks, so it was very comfortable. At first, I felt rather lonely, abandoned. Then I began to meet all the people I was going to live with next door for the next 6 weeks. My PC, whose name is Birdie, was really nice though throughout my stay there. I also got really close with a girl next door to me called Charmaine, whom I'm still really close friends with now. Charmaine, yes! Oh my God, shout out to Charmaine. Wow. Wow, that threw me for a loop. Yeah, I still know Charmaine to this day. Charmaine is also a doctor and has kids and is a beautiful Black woman. She is an AKA, among other things. And yeah, that's so crazy. That was my first time meeting Charmaine. Wow. Anyway, together Charmaine and I rented a fridge. Wow, and ordered food, etc. It was nice talking to her. Of course, I knew we were all there to do schoolwork, but there were some of us who were surprised at the mere mention of work that summer. We all took 3 classes. I had English 137, which was a hard drilling course that helped me improve my reading and writing skills. It served as a real pain. I was constantly in the library doing research papers, typing papers. Oh boy, I won't forget typing papers, which is still a real pain for someone who couldn't use a computer or type. Yeah, well, that's changed. Many years later, I am very familiar with a computer and can type, right? Just think about that, 18 years old. Well, I learned fast. I had to. I also had math. I didn't really like the kind of math it was. All words, or all word problems. Problems that called for too much thinking before solving the problem, which could just be like 2 plus 2. I prefer math where I can just look at the problem and immediately begin to solve it. With math, not English. Then I had chemistry, which was very challenging, but I guess it was okay. At the end, I came out with a B in both math and chemistry, and my English went towards my graduation requirement as the freshman writing seminar. The teachers were all very nice and helpful, full stop. The COSEP meetings, or meetings for students in the Arts and Science School, was the most helpful of all. During those meetings, we had dinner with the directors of the program and various important people, briefing us on all the important things we would need to know as future freshmen in Cornell. So yeah, this was basically pre-freshman summer. Like I said before, in many colleges, when they admit students from, minority backgrounds or from underprivileged backgrounds, it's usually recommended that you have a summer program to kind of get you acclimated before things go full force when the year starts. And it's definitely a really good thing, which is why it is kind of bothersome, to know that many places are trying to get rid of programs that help students of color because, to be honest, it's not balanced. And yes, some of us do need extra help when we get to these very competitive colleges. In the end, we still have to do the work. You still have to know what you're being tested on, and you still have to compete. Anyway, before I digress, let's get back to it. Miss Janice Turner, who I would later know as Dean Turner, has been one of the most helpful people, and she is also my advisor. When I first met her at an interview for Cornell Minority Program, I didn't like her because she seemed too pushy and abrupt, straightforward. But I have grown to learn that whatever advice she gives us is usually for the best. And I've grown to like her a lot. She's also an advisor for pre-meds. All right, let's talk about my social life. Every weekend there were hundreds of parties all over the campus, frat parties, stepping out every Thursday day. Stepping out, which was a party every Thursday at RPU, and sometimes parties in the dorm itself. Every Friday was movies night. One notable movie I remember watching was Dirty Dancing. Y'all remember Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze? Patrick Swayze? How do you say his name? Oh my God, Patrick Swayze. Lord, I will just put it on the screen. I can't believe I forgot how to say his name. But anyway, he passed away. I believe he passed away many years ago of pancreatic cancer. May his soul rest in peace. I didn't go to most of the parties, but when I went, I tried to enjoy myself. I got more and more used to the idea of having fun with people my age. During the week, let me insert myself here now. And why I would say that having fun with people my age. Keep in mind, I had just come from Nigeria, from a very conservative upbringing, conservative Muslim upbringing, for the most part, even though my mother was, Christian and liberal, but I certainly had a very strong influence of a Muslim upbringing, and I was not used to really socializing with people of the opposite gender, not really. I mean, I had a few friends in Nigeria that were international of the opposite sex, but for the most part, I was very shy, I was very inhibited, I was very awkward sometimes. But, I was outgoing on one hand, always have been, but when it came to guys getting too close, I was a little strange. Or not comfortable. I won't say strange, I was just not comfortable. So, and then on top of that, I had an extremely protective mother, who, of course, her and my grandparents wanted to make sure, God forbid, I would get pregnant in high school, or God forbid, I would not accomplish all the dreams and goals I had for myself, which was at that time to go to medical school, right? So, dating and sexual relations and all of that was not part of my agenda. It was all school, work. That was it for me back then. So anyway, it was a big deal for me to step out of my comfort zone and go to a party with people different than myself. So I got more and more used to the idea of having fun with people my age. During the week, many couples formed. Relationships began to grow between opposite sexes. All I did was observe. Somehow I was too distant with most of the guys. They either seemed like the Brooklyn type, which I definitely didn't want to get involved with, and somewhat vain or too fast. Many of them were very fast. That was my term for they were too sexually forward or just too much. So I would say they were too fast. Many of them were fast. When I say fast, I mean experienced, too experienced for me. There was a number of boys who I know wanted to talk to me. They always hung out together. All these tall guys, and I know exactly who I'm talking about because some of them I still know now. All of these guys hung out together, these tall guys. Many of the girls were dying for them. I wasn't one of them. Every time they saw me, they would say hi or wave. For some reason, if there were too many people, I didn't always respond. So it appeared to them that I was either too shy or maybe it appeared to them that I was being vain or maybe closed up. Finally, one of them, whom I am later to get very friendly with, picks up the courage to speak to me. His name is, I'm not going to say his name because I still know him now. His name is, let me just call him David, because his name ain't David. So let me call him David. His name is David. It is so cute. A friend of mine, Bonita, who I also get close to, and I are hanging out together. Both of us in the same costume, which is baggy pants and matching. We really look good. I kind of remember that outfit too. You know, back in the 80s, we'd wear these big baggy pants, kind of tight tops and baggy pants, like think MC Hammer. Yes. Exams are over, so we walk through the suites taking pictures, talking and generally having fun. Anyway, we end up in, I'm not going to say this guy's name either because it will give away who this guy's name is. So I'm going to call him Bob. So we end up in Bob's room, which is David's roommate and David's suite. Everyone there compliments our dressing, and David stays on to talk to me a little bit longer. Well, that's how things start, and I guess David and I from this on become friends, and that a certain someone thinks I have a very ethnic look and likes me. Anyway, I'm just trying to say that he liked me and liked my look, and I believe I had a crush on him too at some point eventually. But unfortunately, I didn't really get to know him or notice him or his friends until the end of the summer program. I went to the last party of the summer program. It was at a frat house, and I have never had so much fun. So many people were there. All the new friends I had made were all there. They served beer to those who wanted. Of course, I didn't drink, and I didn't even sniff at it. Quite a number of people left drunk, and it was so funny. I have never danced so much before. I mean, I danced. I guess I was in a better mood after a dance with, I'll call him David, same guy. It wasn't like I liked him or anything, but it was nice knowing someone was interested in me, a game that I was enjoying. We left the party, my friends and I, about 3 a.m. It was a long walk back to the dorm. Some people stayed up all morning, but I went to bed, happy, at 4 a.m. So that was it. The summer program had ended with a banquet that went really well. I just realized, actually I was 17, because here's a paragraph about me turning 18. I was home for 9 days before I had to go back for fall semester. My 18th birthday wasn't that grand, which is rather unfair of me to say, because Mummy tried to make it as pleasant as possible. She took my brothers and I to the movies. It was really hot, and I was in a miserable mood. Later in the day, I went out to Auntie Lola's with Grandma, who gave me $20. Nothing else really happened. All I know is I am 18 already, an adult. That's interesting how I would feel like I was an adult at 18, because I don't know if I think 18 is an adult. So this is now at Cornell. This is basically, again, summer program has ended, and I am starting the fall semester at Cornell for the first time. August 19th, Grandma, Grandpa, Mummy, Alma, Bashir, and I drove up in Grandpa's van to Ithaca. I remember that day very well, very, very well. It's so sad though, both my grandparents have passed on. Anyway, we left about 4 p.m. So we left Brooklyn about 4 p.m. and then we drove up to Ithaca, which is several hours away, with all my luggage. We intended to reach there about 9:30-ish, but instead we made it for 6 a.m. the next day, Saturday the 20th. There has been so much traffic, so we had to stop several times and then stop to sleep before continuing our journey. When we arrived, it was really cold. We woke up. The RA, or residential advisor, she gave me the key to my room along with other papers to fill out. My room was big, but the furniture in it wasn't very impressive. the room had that old deserted look. Which is funny that I would say that, because I fell in love eventually with that room and that dorm. But that dorm intentionally had very vintage pieces in the room. But remember, as a 18-year-old or just turned 18-year-old, I wasn't impressed by vintage furniture, which I totally love and adore now, which is where it started from. But anyway, it had like all this vintage furniture in the room. So let's see. And it wasn't carpeted. I had come, and yeah, which also reminds me, now I detest carpet. Now that I'm older and I know better, I prefer any home or any room without carpet, unless it's upstairs. I hate going into a space that's already carpeted because it holds germs, you know? Now that we are older, we know better. Carpet holds germs, pets, smokers, stuff like that. Anyway, I didn't know better back then. So I didn't like the fact that the room had no carpet. I had come prepared with my own rug, which only covered less than 3/4 of the room. Oh, so I must have known that the room wouldn't have carpet because I brought my own rug. Everyone was tired and eager to go back, and I think they spent 10 to 15 minutes with me and then left. So can you imagine? I had come with all of this family, grandma, grandpa, my mother, my brothers, and then after 15 minutes, they dropped me off and left. And I remember being so upset. You know, this was the first time I was literally gonna be on my own for a long period. And I was just feeling so vulnerable and scared, and I wanted them to stay longer. Yeah. So I think they spent 10 to 15 minutes with me and they left. I was so depressed, and I didn't cry because one of my friends, Kuni, who's this Chinese girl, was with me. I know her still now too. That's so funny. After that, I felt very lonely, all on my own. I took my things, made the room comfortable and slept for two hours or so. It was already Saturday, and by 10 a.m. I had to do stuff like get my ID, etc. So I didn't have much time to rest before the day's activity begun. I won't go into detail of what happened after that, but I met all the people I had known during the summer, and things began to look good. My room looked a lot better after I fixed it up. I bought posters, a plant, some fish, etc. You know me, even back then, I'm going to decorate a room. I will never be in a space that doesn't have plants. Yeah, so I am not surprised. And I was only 18, yeah. So now I'm in love with it. I'm in love with my room. I have my own fridge, and it's so comfortable. So if I can live in Balch Hall again next year, I think I will. So you see, it didn't take long for me to fall in love with that space. And what's interesting is I really did end up loving that space and loving that dorm, and chose to live there for the next 4 years. So while I was at Cornell, you could live in the same dorm if you wanted. Now they've changed the rules. Now I believe Balch Hall, where I used to live, in this all women's dorm, you can only live there during your first year, during your freshman year. It is no longer an option to live there all 4 years, but back then it was. So I chose to live there. Can you imagine? I started off hating this space with the unimpressive furniture, and then it turned out to be the best thing ever. It actually had very grand halls and, you know, beautiful vintage fixtures and tall ceilings, and it was just a very majestic space that I will never forget. I registered for calculus, English, the Black Experience to writing, chemistry, and French. As was expected, all my classes were very challenging, and I looked forward to the weekends or fall break. Unlike in the summer, I didn't call home half as much as I used to. Because I was a bit more independent and I knew how much the collect calls, well, also keep in mind, yeah, we didn't have cell phones like you do now. Yeah, you had to pay a phone bill, so we had those physical old-fashioned phones in the room. So that was also part of the reason. I knew how much the collect calls from Ithaca to New York came up to the last time. Surprisingly, Ronald, he's another person I've known since childhood, and I still speak to him online on social media and have seen him in person a couple of years ago. So it's just crazy to me how you can meet these people as teenagers and 20, 30 years later, like we still know each other. Anyway, Ronald always kept in contact with me. Even during the summer, he would call at the oddest hour, and I was always so happy to hear from him. So I was a little confused, but okay, now it makes sense. I'm going to read that again. I received a package express from Nigeria from, I guess, a man called Bello Abubakar. I really don't know who that is still. But I think in it was a stupid letter greeting me and telling me he hopes I like my new stepmother. Can you believe he had included a newspaper clipping which had a picture of Daddy and his new wife announcing their marriage? Exclamation point. Wow. So basically, just to give you context, I'm 18. We got to the US when I was 16, and you know, it was me, my mom, and my brothers living with my grandparents, and my father was still in Nigeria because for different reasons he had chosen not to move with us, and my parents sorta weren't together. But this is how I guess I find out that my father has remarried. This is basically how I find out that my father has a new wife in Nigeria. Okay, Mummy was totally shaken by it. I don't know what to think. However, she has decided to deny it was ever sent. Until Daddy tells her himself. And I know he won't, because she has asked him for several times if he is married again. His answers is yes, I am married to you, Barbara. Ooh. So yeah, my father could not bring himself to tell my mom he had remarried. Ouch. Anyway, many times Mommy has called Nigeria only to speak to a Hausa woman who I know, and so does she, Mommy. That is his new wife. I don't know what I'm saying here, but I guess what I was trying to say is many times my mother, Mommy, had called Nigeria and ended up speaking to a Hausa woman, Hausa, the tribe, and I guess she suspected that my father had remarried again. She asked Daddy who the woman was, and his answers are always blank and meaningless. He doesn't know. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I'm getting very tired, so I will continue this tomorrow, inshallah. Full stop. I think I need to stop right there, okay? I think I need to stop right there. That's a good place to stop. Digging up the past, right? Hey, it's water under the bridge. Of course, my father remarried. We know that all now, don't we? I mean, I am actually now quite cordial to my half brothers and sisters. It happened. It definitely happened. And I do have 2 brothers here in the US, and now clearly I have 4 siblings in Nigeria by my father's second wife. So it is what it is. But it's very interesting to look back to see how I find out and how my mother reacted. And it is kind of sad in some ways, to be honest, but it is what it is. We received a package from Nigeria with someone sending me a newspaper clipping. Oh my God. There should have been a better way to find out. But anyway, you know what? This time I will put a thing here so that, a marker, so that when I come back, we can just continue from there. So Bye. We'll talk later. Don't forget to thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more Kenton and Habiba videos. On Friday, hopefully, we'll do a live, Kenton and I, and we'll talk about a lot of things like we always do. Don't forget to leave us a question or questions of things you want us to talk about. Where's my glasses? Yeah, don't forget to do that. And ooh, now I can see you better. You probably can see the ring light too. And oh, by the way, I just heard on the news that God, may their souls rest in peace. This violence in America, man. 14 children and 1 teacher was killed in a shooting at a Texas elementary school. So sad, but apparently the suspect is also dead. So wow, but I can't imagine as a parent going through that. That is just crazy. Crazy. Anyway, I don't want to talk anymore. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.